After my grandmother died, we hosted a family potluck in her memory. It was peaceful. Then, midway through dinner, the sprinklers on the other side of the fence turned on, soaking us. When we knocked, the neighbor said, "If you wanted privacy, you should have booked a hall." That night, we found her TikTok, where she filmed us crying and captioned it, "Grief Olympics front row." My cousin reported it. It got taken down. But not before someone recognized her boss. The apology came in an envelope. Handwritten. 2 words. "I'm unemployed. My name's Ricky, and I'm 42 years old. I live in Fort Collins, Colorado. I'm an electrician, union guy, father of 2, married 17 years. I don't drink much, don't post online, and until a few months ago, I didn't even have a TikTok account. But this story? It changed that. It all started after my grandmother died. Her name was Mabel. She was 89 and the center of everything. Every holiday was at her house. Every hard time was softened by her voice. She was steady, kind, and had a way of making you feel like the most important person in the room. When she had a stroke in February, it took her body first, then her mind. We lost her in pieces. When she passed, the family didn't want a church thing. Grandma wasn't religious. She liked simplicity. She used to say, "Just eat some good food and tell stories. That's how I want to be remembered." So we did exactly that. We planned a backyard potluck at her house. Her backyard was big and quiet, with trees on both sides and a low wooden fence along the back. We'd all gathered there for birthdays and cookouts growing up. It felt right. There were 16 of us. My mom, my cousins, my wife and kids, aunts, uncles. Everyone brought something. My cousin Tara smoked brisket. My mom made Grandma's favorite lemon bars. I brought folding tables, chairs, paper plates, and a box of string lights I'd saved from last Christmas. We weren't partying. We were remembering. Everyone sat around, telling old stories, crying a little, laughing a little. Mark, my cousin, told the one about how Grandma once got a possum drunk on beer-soaked bread because it kept stealing from her garden. We all laughed until our stomachs hurt. Then the sprinklers turned on. It wasn't ours. It was the neighbor's yard, directly behind Grandma's fence. One second we were passing a plate of ribs, the next we were getting pounded with ice-cold water. It came in from above, sideways, everywhere. Soaked the food. Knocked over drinks. My youngest daughter, she's 7, started screaming because the water hit her face and she couldn't breathe. We jumped up, pulling chairs away, trying to cover the food with our hands. My Uncle Frank slipped on the wet concrete and landed flat on his back. His pacemaker buzzed. It was chaos. All of it, because of the neighbor's sprinklers. I went around the block and knocked on her front door. Not because I was angry at that point, just shocked. I figured it had to be a mistake. Who runs sprinklers at 7 p.m. in late February? She answered fast. Maybe she was watching from the window. Blonde. Fake lashes. Late 30s. Wearing one of those off-the-shoulder sweaters. I remember that because it was freezing and she didn't look cold at all. "Yes?" she said, like I was bothering her. I told her. "We're having a family dinner for my grandmother. She passed away. Your sprinklers." "I know," she said. That stopped me. I blinked. Sorry?" She smiled. "Not nice. Not polite. Smug. If you wanted privacy, you should have booked a hall," she said, and then shut the door in my face. I stood there for a full minute. I had never wanted to punch someone so badly in my life. But I didn't. I walked away, heart pounding, back to the backyard, where people were drying off paper towels and trying to salvage what was left of dinner. We moved everything inside. The mood was gone. My daughter wouldn't stop crying. That night I couldn't sleep. Around midnight, Tara sent a message in our family group chat. Just a link. A TikTok. Posted by someone named @WestelmWitch. She had filmed us. From her upstairs window. Zoomed in on our crying family, wet clothes, the fallen food, even Grandma's photo lying sideways on the grass. She edited it with sad music, mocking captions, and hashtags like #GriefOlympics and #PassThePotatoSalad. My daughter was in the video. Crying. That's when I got mad. Tara reported it. TikTok took it down an hour later. But by then, it had over 14,000 views. The comments were even worse. She faked it for the mac and cheese. Who cries over a dead meme like this? Then someone commented, "Isn't that Courtney from Vanguard Wellness?" That name rang a bell for my wife. She pulled up a website, Courtney Bell, grief counselor and trauma support worker, based right here in Fort Collins. Her smiling face. Helping you heal after loss. Let that sink in. The woman who filmed the grieving family to laugh at them online, she got paid to help people grieve. We didn't have to do anything after that. People came for her. Her employer was tagged. Her TikTok was deleted. So was her website. Her Yelp profile got flooded with 1-star reviews before it disappeared. Reddit got involved. There were memes. Someone even found a photo of her with the caption, "Local grief expert films funeral for likes." Then, 2 days later, a plain white envelope showed up in Tara's mailbox. No return address. Inside was a torn sheet of paper. Just 2 words. I'm unemployed. No name. No apology. Just that. We never heard from her again. But 3 weeks later, we saw her house go up for sale. Fast. Price cut twice in the first month. Last we heard, she was gone. This story doesn't have a grand lesson. Just this. If someone is cruel to people who are grieving, they deserve every ounce of that karma when it hits them. Especially when they thought they were untouchable. The video was gone, but the damage wasn't. My daughter started refusing to go to Grandma's house, even though she used to love it there. Said she felt watched. My wife started double-checking the curtains at night. My mom stopped answering calls from people she didn't recognize. She was scared Courtney would try something. It should have ended there. But it didn't. One night, about 3 weeks after the envelope showed up, my cousin Mark called me. Said he saw Courtney. She was in the grocery store on Mulberry. He said. She looked rough. Sunglasses inside, pushing a half-empty cart of frozen dinners. Her hair was all matted. I almost didn't recognize her. You talked to her? No. But I think she saw me. She bolted before I got to the end of the aisle. I didn't think much of it. I figured she was probably laying low. But the next morning, there was a plastic bag hanging from my front doorknob. Inside? A printed screenshot of her TikTok. The one that had been deleted. The one with my daughter crying in the background. On the back, in thick black sharpit, someone had written, "Still funny." I called the cops. They said there wasn't much they could do unless I caught her on camera or had proof. They said it could have been a prank. Could have been anyone. But it wasn't. I checked my doorbell camera. Nothing. It had glitched between 2:13 and 2:19 a.m. 6 full minutes gone. First time that ever happened. My guess? Signal jammed. Or someone smart enough to use a blocker. I bought a better system that same day. One with a backup battery, no Wi-Fi dependence. I wasn't about to let this psycho scare my family. 2 nights later, Tara found her dog's leash cut clean through. The dog had been barking nonstop in the backyard. They checked the camera. They saw someone tall in a hoodie slipping through the side gate. They couldn't see a face, but the body language looked familiar. Confident. Like they'd been there before. Like they knew the place. That's when I snapped. Courtney wanted to be anonymous again. She wanted to throw punches from the dark. But I still had the original download of her video. And screenshots. And the email thread from her employer when my cousin sent the link. All proof. I put it all together in a Dropbox folder. Then I posted it to a private Facebook group for local businesses in Fort Collins. Then I sent it to a friend of mine who worked for a local radio show. The next day, it aired. Grief counselor fired after filming mourning family for TikTok clout. The post went viral in northern Colorado. Her name was trending. Again. That's when I got the second note. Not in the mailbox. Not on the door. On my daughter's school folder. It was folded in half and stuffed into the side pouch of her backpack. She didn't see it until she unpacked her stuff that night. It was scrawled on lined paper in the same thick sharpie. You asked for this. That was it. We filed a police report. This time, they took it more seriously. They put a patrol car near our street for a few days. I took time off work, just in case. My wife stayed with her sister in Denver. I stayed behind. Someone had to. 3 days later, my security camera finally caught her. Not trying to hide. She walked right up to my house around 2 a.m., hoodie pulled low, hands shaking. She stood there on the porch, staring at the camera. For 2 minutes. Then she smiled. A big, fake, twisted grin. And spit on my welcome mat. I took the footage to the police. They arrested her the next day for trespassing, vandalism, and stalking. Her court date is next month. The arrest gave us a breather, but not peace. She was out within 24 hours. No bail, just a restraining order. The kind they hand out like parking tickets. And like most of those, it didn't stop her. She couldn't come near my house or my daughter's school, sure. But she found other ways. The morning after she got out, someone posted a Craigslist ad with my phone number and a fake listing. Free pitbull puppies to good home, must pick up today. Text only. I got 63 messages in an hour. A few voicemails too. People asking if the puppies had shots. If they could come now. One guy got aggressive when I didn't answer. Said I was a liar. I had to change my number. The same day, someone emailed a fake complaint to the licensing board under my name. Said I was working unlicensed electrical jobs. Said I was stealing clients. My union rep called me, pissed. I had to explain everything, forward police reports, show him security footage. She was trying to bury me under little fires, knowing each one would take hours to put out. But here's where she screwed up. She started messing with Tara. Tara's a teacher. 4th grade. Quiet. Sweet. Not the kind to fight back. But she's also not the kind to miss a pattern. She started getting prank calls at the school. Little things. You smell like dead people. Hope the mac and cheese was worth it. At first, she ignored them. But then one call came in after hours. To her personal line. A whisper. Should have booked a hall. That was it. Same words Courtney had said to me that first night. Tara called me, voice shaking. That's when I told her the whole thing, about the Craigslist post, the licensing board, the court date. She was quiet for a minute. Then she said, she wants to make us the crazy ones. Wants us to crack. No one's cracking. I told her. Not yet. We needed proof. Solid proof. Something the judge couldn't ignore. Something that showed this wasn't just creepy, it was a pattern of targeted harassment. So we started digging. Mark, my cousin, works in IT. He offered to help. He set up a fake profile on a burner phone and reached out to Courtney's old email address, the one from her grief business website. Said he needed help processing a recent loss. Said he found her. On Reddit. She answered. Within 5 minutes. She was still trying to sell her grief coaching service. Just off the books. No website. No paper trail. She asked for Venmo. Said she could. Do sessions discreetly, especially if it involves family trauma. Mark played along. 4 days. She spilled everything. Told him about this one family. That turned her life into hell. Claimed she was just joking with the TikTok. That she never meant for it to go viral. But then she started ranting. Said the family was insane. Said they were stalking her. Said she'd lost her job, her license, her home, and they still wouldn't let her breathe. Mark saved every message. Every email. She even admitted the Craigslist ad. We turned it all over to the police. They reopened the case. But it wasn't enough. Not yet. So I decided to make it public. I took everything, screenshots, messages, the court order, the footage from my porch, and compiled it into one post. No doxing. No threats. Just facts. I posted it in a private Facebook group. Fort Collins Families United. It blew up. Dozens of families came forward. Some said they knew Courtney from support groups. One woman said Courtney filmed her son's memorial and used it as a content warning video in a TikTok. Another man said she tried to coach his grieving mother into leaving her church so she could sell her healing sessions. They shared their proof too. Courtney wasn't just cruel. She was a predator. The group grew overnight. It wasn't just locals anymore. Word spread to Denver, Boulder, even into Wyoming. Her name was being passed around like a warning sign. By week's end, someone tagged a reporter. A real one, investigative, local news. They reached out to me. At first, I wasn't sure. My wife said no, Tara said wait. But then I remembered the bag on the door, the notes, the ad, my daughter's face in that TikTok. I said yes. The interview was short. I told the truth. No drama, no spin. Just what happened. The reporter fact-checked it all, called the station, filed for court records, even talked to some of the other victims from the Facebook group. The story aired on a Tuesday night. Headline? Disgraced grief counselor accused of targeting mourning families. She filmed us crying and laughed. Courtney's face was blurred, but if you knew her, you knew. The footage showed the TikTok screenshots, the Craigslist ad, the restraining order. The video from my porch. Even the voice message she left Tara. That's when it really hit her. Her old employer released a statement. Confirmed she was fired for breach of ethical conduct. Her license, what was left of it, was pulled by the state. 2 former clients sued her for emotional distress. Then, finally, the court hearing came. She walked in wearing a wrinkled blazer and cheap heels. Hair greasy, hands twitching. She didn't look at me. Didn't look at anyone. The judge didn't buy her act. She tried to say we were ruining her reputation. The judge cut her off. You filmed a grieving family. You mocked a child. Then you stalked and threatened them when they asked for accountability. She was sentenced to 6 months in county jail for harassment, trespassing, and violating the restraining order. Small time, sure. But it was something. Her face turned red when they cuffed her. She screamed something on the way out. I couldn't hear it. I didn't care. That should have been the end. But something was still eating at me. I'd done everything right. Reported her. Protected my family. Followed the law. And yet, I didn't feel better. I kept thinking about the night it all started. When I knocked on her door. When she said those words. If you wanted privacy, you should have booked a hall. She didn't say it in anger. She said it with joy. Like hurting us felt good. That stuck with me. After the hearing, I went home, opened my laptop, and pulled up the file. The TikTok. The one she made. I watched it again. Not because I missed anything. I just needed to remember how low she went. Then I uploaded it to a new Dropbox folder. Labeled it. For when she gets out. I didn't post it. Didn't send it. Just kept it. Because some people don't deserve peace. They deserve to live every day wondering if the world remembers. And I'll make sure it does.